Hey guys, it's Mary. So today I decided to do my January wrap up slash February TBR. So the first book I read, I actually started in December, but I finished in early January, which is Breathe Annie Breathe by Miranda Keneally. And if nobody knows who Miranda Keneally or the Hundred Oak series is, check out my other videos because I talk about her a lot. But this is book 5 in a series of 7 as of right now. Then there's an 8th coming out in the summer. And it is basically about Annie, who has lost her boyfriend in a car accident and who's planning to run the marathon that was coming up in like a year or so. She decides she's going to run it in his honor. Along the way, she's finding out more about herself. We get to see how the accident happened. And she also meets this boy, but she kind of realizes, well, yeah, he's kind of cute, but like, I'm just going to stay away from relationships for a while. So there is that. But it's a really cute kind of love story. It's really about finding love again after a tragic accident happens. I would recommend that book, 5 out of 5 stars. And then the next I read was actually a library book. It's called The Isle of the Lost. It is a prequel to the Disney Channel original movie, Descendants, which is about the kids of villains going from this villain-filled island to Ordon, which is the place where all the like princes and princesses and all the Disney fairy tale people live in. But this story is about Mal, who is Maleficent's daughter, Evie, who is the Evil Queen's daughter, Carlos, which is Cruella de Vil's son, and I forget Jafar's son's name, but basically Jafar's son and Mal are frenemies in some sort, and they steal a lot of stuff and they try to be evil like their parents. Carlos is an inventor. He is more like he is more on the good side. He doesn't really want to be bad. And then Evie is a new kid, kind of. She was banished by Maleficent. She and her mother were. So she comes back after all of these years, and suddenly Mal wants revenge for not inviting her to her 6th or something birthday party. And they have to find a way together to get Maleficent's scepter. And that was a fine book. It wasn't the best, but it was definitely a good prequel to a movie I love. And then the next book I read was an audiobook, but it was Before I Fall by Lauren Oliver. And that book is becoming a movie. And it is basically about this girl who dies one night, and she keeps reliving the night over and over and over again until she gets the day right, gets all the details, gets everything perfect. And it's one of those books that you just kind of want to sob at the end. So basically, in my opinion, it's better that I listened to it than I read it, because I kind of got to hear the emotions more, but it was definitely a really great book, and I can't wait to see the film this March or April or whenever it comes out. Then, finally, after a month, I finished The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis, and I did a book talk that came out earlier this week. And The Chronicles of Narnia is a 7-book series. This is the bind-up of all 7 books. It is about this magical land called Narnia and all these adventures that go on in this land. You may have heard of some of the books that have been turned into movies: The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Prince Caspian, and The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. Those main characters are the Pevensey children, who are some of the most interesting main characters I've ever read about. It is considered a children's series, but if you're older, you start to understand, oh, there are religious undertones to it. So it can, like Harry Potter, can be read throughout all ages, and I definitely loved this series. I definitely will return to it, and it is a series I definitely regret not reading or not finding out about when I was like 8. So the next book I want to talk about is actually on my Kindle, so I can't show you it. It's called The Princess Diaries, and it is by Carrie Fisher, and it's basically, she found her old journals from when she was filming Star Wars, and she kind of wrote them into a book. And it was nice seeing her side of fame, how she got into Star Wars, how fame has affected her life, her family, and I've actually met her. I got an autograph at Chicago Comic-Con in August, and I found the diary entries very interesting. I think a lot of it was because they were of Harrison Ford, because in her book she talks a lot about her affair with Harrison, the 3-month whirlwind romance, and how she wishes it was Mark. It should have been Mark who played Luke, but instead it was Harrison who played Han Solo. And I really liked not only that, but how the fact that she was talking about San Diego Comic-Con and about how, like, she gets all these stories about how Princess Leia is people's, like, favorite characters. Oh, can you just, like, sign this for me, or can you take a picture with me? It's really nice to see it from somebody's side of fame, and especially from a series that is so beloved. I love the Star Wars series. It is one of my favorite movie series. The originals and 7. The prequels were, but I definitely loved it. And it was so soon after her death that I just wanted to cry. I didn't, but the end came and I was just like, I want more. I want more. But if you love Star Wars, if you love anything Carrie Fisher, I would definitely check that out if you haven't already. The next book that I listened to, obviously it was an audiobook, but it was That Summer by Sarah Destin. I decided I'm going to give Sarah Destin a second chance, but I don't know if I'm picking the wrong Sarah Destin books. But That Summer is basically about a girl who is trying to find her way around life. Her sister is getting married, but she can't get off her sister's ex-boyfriend and how amazing he was. And he comes back in this time in her life where her father has just gotten remarried to the woman he cheated on her mother with. And suddenly she finds herself wanting to be with him, but she doesn't know the whole story about why her sister and this guy broke up, besides the fact that her sister broke up with him. And it's basically her way of dealing with how things aren't treated fairly, as she believes. But I don't know if I'm picking the wrong books, but these aren't these summer romancy books that like people love so much about Sarah Dessen, so maybe I'll give her one more try, but these definitely aren't the correct books. And then the next one I read was Anne of Green Gables. Now, this is a very old copy. I have these vintage copies, very old copies of books from the 1970s. And I finally decided to read them. I had actually kind of read Anne of Green Gables before, but it was this, the Great Illustrated Classics series. It is basically for like third graders and below. It has drawings and it has really huge type and it dumbs it down. It kind of like takes important parts and it dumps it down. So I hadn't read it in a long time and I hadn't exactly read the entire story. So I decided I'm going to read it actually and finish the series. And so I read the first one and it was amazing. And if you don't know what it's about this girl named Anne Shirley who's adopted and comes to Avonlea at a place called Green Gables, and the people who adopted her wanted a boy, but there was a mix-up and she's a girl, but they decided to keep her. It's basically her and her imagination. It's a home that she's never had. She was treated very poorly when she grew up, going from foster home to foster home and then orphanages. But she's growing up and it's an 8-book series, but I definitely will continue on with that series. Then the last book I read in January, I read a lot in January, is Percy Jackson's Greek Heroes by Rick Riordan and John Rocco. And it is 12 Greek heroes like Atalanta and Hercules and Jason and all these different kinds of heroes and what they did. But it's a really good book. It like has really great photos or pictures that John Rocco did. I would definitely recommend picking it up. It's way different than the other book, Percy Jackson's Greek Gods, which I haven't read, but apparently it's a book, so I gotta go and read it. But I would definitely recommend checking it out. And now, the books I want to read next month, or in February, are Anne of Green Gables 2, which is Anne of Avonlea, is the sequel, and I'm really excited. And then I also have The Siren by Kira Cass from the library, where the main character is of the sea. She's a siren, and she falls in love with this boy on land, and it's this tragic romance. I haven't gotten that far into it, but it seems like a good story. So I can't wait to listen to that. And then the third book I'm going to read is Anne of the Island, which is Anne of Green Gables 3. I'm trying to get through the Anne of Green Gables series because I really have wanted to read them for a long time. And also, I really want to see the mini series that I had when I was little on VHS, but actually I had two copies. My sister and I each had one copy, and I don't know where they went. We probably gave them away or something. But they had them at DVD on the library. The like first miniseries, and then the sequel, and then the third one, and then apparently there's a fourth one. But the third and fourth are controversial. Um, but I just really want to see those and see how the adaptation goes, because I know a lot of people love that adaptation. And come on, Gilbert Blythe, like, it's Gilbert Blythe. Do I need an explanation for that? Hopefully I will read more, but with my schedule becoming so full, it just doesn't seem like it right now. But yeah, have a very good day, and I will talk to you later. Bye.